Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. It's the day after, I was going to say a loss. It's not. We drew at Old Trafford. It felt like a loss, I'll be honest. But 1-1 away at Old Trafford against Man United. And we now look forward to Arsenal on the weekend, who are coming over to the bridge. Yeah, it's at the bridge, right? It is at the bridge, I think. But we got to play Noah's Ark, shout out Matisse, in midweek in the Conference League. So we'll have all the build-up to that. But Arsenal next in the league. Now, talking about Arsenal, we are going to mention Arsenal because something pretty substantial happened there earlier on. But we're going to start off at Chelsea. However, before we do, I've got two things. Firstly, if my voice is sounding a little rough or maybe a little deeper than usual, apologies. Because I was, like I said yesterday, at the official Chelsea supporters club here in the UAE, in Dubai. And secondly, I am going to mention, because some of you did put it in the comments, you didn't know where it was, you can't find it. Okay, no problem, I'll tell you where it is. The Belgian Beer Cafe in Barsha Heights, Dubai, is where you'll find all games, basically Chelsea games that are taking place there. You do have to check them out on Insta, Chelsea FC UAE. If I'm not mistaken, that's the page. But make sure you contact them in advance. But if you are in Dubai, you are in the UAE, make sure you pop by. You can watch your Chelsea games there. It's a great place. Do join. You'll love it. But that's why my voice has gone a little bit crazy, because yesterday I was screaming. Right. Not too much either, but I did, especially the goal. The goal is what done it. Caicedo ruined my voice. Anyway, let's get cracking. Now, talking about Chelsea, I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to dive into two things. Here it is. Firstly, quoting the original tweet here, Cole Palmer is expected to have a scan on the injury that left him limping out of Old Trafford, with Chelsea hoping he suffered a lucky escape. Right? He left with ice, apparently. Now, before we get to what you saw on the screen alongside it, I'll get to that, don't worry. I've got a lot to say there. I want to talk about Cole Palmer. I hope he's not injured, firstly, because we need him. But this is where I want to mention, I think there was heavy criticism of Cole Palmer yesterday, and I'm going to protect him. I'm going to say no. I don't believe he should be criticised the way that he was yesterday. Because there is a thing about, does he show up in the big games? We can't have him do all the work. If you were watching the game yesterday, right, especially the first half, I would say especially the first half, and you saw the two occasions where there was two times he made that outrageous touch. I don't know how he does it. He has this thing where ball comes to him, he knows what defenders are coming, he has a touch, and he weighs it so perfectly, and he manages to end up running around the defender. So much so, the commentator yesterday called him Dennis Bergkamp. I completely agree. Yes, he wasn't influential yesterday. He didn't have his best game, right? But I don't think he had a bad game. I think no one else around him stepped up. That's the problem here. Cole Palmer's not the catalyst. Look, if it wasn't for Cole Palmer, right, we would be worse. Let's remember that. But yesterday, just to emphasize the point, Cole Palmer was moving everywhere, trying to find something, trying to find opportunity, trying to do something, trying to create. I'm not going to fault him for that. It's not his fault when there's no one else that's taking the spotlight. He gets focused on. He still manages to get past. He tries to link up. Not much happens. Jackson, trying to get the ball up to Jackson was a difficult situation yesterday. This is why I didn't blame Jackson either. Because what do you want him to do? But this is where I look to the other midfielders. I look to Madueke. I look to Neto. Neto, yeah, there was a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. I can't fault him. He had a decent game. Madueke had a poor game. Now that's someone you could say had a poor game. The midfielders brought something to the table yesterday, which is great. but they do lack something, which I think is a problem. And this is why, when we talk about ourselves defensively, I do always mention the midfield. But yesterday, I don't necessarily think that was the problem. Normally, when I talk about the midfield, I'm talking Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo, those guys. I always, when I have something dodgy to say about them, it tends to be defensively, right? Yesterday, I don't think there was a problem, too much of a problem defensively from them. We saw Caicedo going about and winning the ball basically everywhere. Lavia, in that first half, there were times he'd take the ball, go on the 180 and he would drive forward. That's great. What comes next? And this is what we're lacking. And this is why we over-rely on Cole Palmer. There isn't any other creativity in that midfield. At all. At all. Lavia's not a creative player. I don't really expect him to be. Caicedo is not that creative. He has moments, but we're talking in order to create. Doesn't really happen. Sometimes with Caicedo, we do get the one killer pass. It happens and he picks it and he finds it and great. Is that continuous? No. Enzo, we don't even need to talk about Enzo. He was the one that we thought would end up bringing some sort of creativity, and it's just not really happened at all whatsoever, right? If anyone has stunk up the place in that midfield, it's Enzo Fernandez. Which is why we find more balance when Lavia and Caicedo's on the pitch. But then to turn and just put it all on Cole Palmer, like, oh no, how dare you? You've not done anything. No. When at the end of the day, when you are playing, I want to say decent opposition, but United were not even that decent. But when you are in an occasion where it is a big game, everyone has to step up. If not, Cole Palmer will be the one that's focused on. This is where, and I didn't mention this yesterday, and I think it is a little thing that should be considered here. I would love to try and see if there's a way, in times like yesterday, where we can get João Felix onto the pitch alongside Cole Palmer. Alongside. And I think that's where we might need to shuffle things in midfield a little bit. Maybe change the shape a little bit. You might end up being a little bit more exposed defensively, and this is the concern. And this is what doesn't help. Because we're sacrificing creativity in midfield in order to try and bring some sort of defensive stability in order to protect ourselves at the back, which is very weak. This is our problem now. But the one thing is, we don't have enough creativity. We don't. When it's not Cole Palmer, no one else is picking something out of nothing here. No one is pulling something out of the bag. No one is. This is why I emphasize on fixing the defense, because we're not going to be scoring 3-4 goals every game. We're just not going to. This is why I hate the way that we're defending and what Sanchez is doing in goal. So I want to mention that about Cole Palmer. I think it's not fair to completely like, oh no, how dare you not show up? He was trying. Man. Now, if he had a poor game, it would be because he wasn't doing enough. No, yesterday he done enough. For me, he done enough. I could see he was moving into every single pocket he could find. What else do you want him to do? Is what it is. He's not going to save the club every single game. You need Messi to do that. You need Ronaldo to do that. And even then, come on. We talk about lowering the expectation, but when it's Cole Palmer, nah, you got to save the club. No, don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. He's done enough. Everyone else needs to step up to his level. I got no problem with Cole Palmer. So, that's one thing. Now, talking about stepping up to a level, let's bring up what I brought up earlier on. The feeling within the club is that Robert Sanchez has all the ingredients to be one of the best goalkeepers in the league, and that his decision-making will eventually catch up with his talent. Okay. Firstly, who wrote this? That's what I want to say. We know who wrote it. Matt Law. Funnily enough, looks like you're in the good books of Chelsea Football Club again, aren't you? Okay. That's a story for a different day. If this is the case, because we got a question. When it's these sort of journalists, we got to question everything now, yeah? But if this is the case, we are smoking something very strong at this football club. I've not said this in a while, but I will say it now. Herbal essences are back, ladies and gentlemen. I've not said that in ages. If you're an OG, you remember. But herbal essences are well and truly back at our football club. The supply is high again. Because this is ridiculous. Come on. I understand for a goalkeeper, 26, 27 is young. It's not old. Goalkeepers can last up until they're 40. But, just like I mentioned a few days ago, by your early 20s, there should be a level. And if you're not there by then, I don't think it will come. You're going to need a miracle for it to pop up. Now, we know Chelsea are heavily reliant on data, and the data is probably telling them something. But that's just not wise. To go down that route and just completely rely on that, I think is ludicrous. Sanchez, let's just put it to how it is, right? He was third choice goalkeeper at Brighton, for goodness sakes. When we brought him in, I initially thought we'd bring him in as a backup. And that suits him, that's fine. He was backup at Brighton. He's number one. But, let's be fair, his shot stopping isn't a problem. He done it yesterday. He pulled off a brilliant save when he went to that right-hand bottom corner. We remember, fantastic save. I've not got a problem with that. We're so hell-bent on playing with the ball, though, aren't we? We're so hell-bent with, distributing, passing. The goalkeeper basically becomes one of the defenders at that point. He becomes an additional option to pass the ball to because he's not marked, right? He's someone that can take the ball and transition it from one side to the other because there's no defender on him. He's part of the team in that way. He fumbles. And then on top of that, yesterday that wasn't even a problem. He didn't make a crazy mistake passing it to the opposition or something like that, no. He just decided to commit into a challenge that he did not have to commit into. Where's your brain? Where is your brain? No top goalkeeper would have gone in for the dive that he done yesterday. Some people are going to blame Fofana. Absolutely. Fofana was stupid in that as well. Completely. I'm not saying that they're mutually exclusive. They're both to blame. Fofana is a problem that we've already detected. We can already see. We know we're leaking in defence, right? We've got issues there. 100%. In fact, to the point where, look, we're talking about defenders. We're talking about Chalobah on loan. We're talking about who we might need. We know that. That will come. It's not something that's going to be sorted right now. It is what it is. Sanchez going in for the dive like that. Some people in the comments, let me explain it to you, because yesterday there was a little bit of a Younes, what do you want him to do? I'll tell you what I want him to do. If you're a goalkeeper, striker with the ball, moving away from your goal, you're told this I was told this when I was playing for my school team. I wasn't even in goal, and I knew this. If the player is moving away from the goal, you don't need to commit. Just protect your post. Protect your front post. End of story. Have a look and make sure your defenders are there too. You've not got to commit. Now, if the player is coming towards you, different story. Different story. If the player's coming inside towards your goal, you got to make a decision. If you have to go low, you got to go low. Who was it? Højbjerg was going away from goal towards the byline, running away from the post. There was nowhere to go except off the pitch, and Sanchez has gone down and grabbed his foot. That tells me, here, you're not thinking. And if you're not thinking, I'm sorry. You don't belong at the level. You don't belong at the level. If you cannot understand that at this level, then you don't belong at this level. It's as simple as that. Because there are goalkeepers that will understand that. That's my problem here. This is the problem with Chelsea as a whole. There are players here that are good. They're decent at times. But they're not creme de la creme. We need creme de la creme, man. And I think there's a lot of acceptance. That's the problem here. I think there's a lot of acceptance. What are we going to do about this? Well, Chelsea, I hope, take some sort of action. Firstly, we got 9 goalkeepers registered at this football club. Surely one of them are useful. Surely, for all the scouting and data we have to recruit 9 goalkeepers that are currently on our roster, in club and on loan, total, surely someone's good. Bring them in. Even if it means terminating a loan early, I would bring him in, man, because this cannot continue. I said this yesterday. Before we move to the other clubs, I said this yesterday. If this goes on, it will cost us top 4. I'm saying it today, right? November 4th. It will cost us top 4. We won't get it. We've been warned. So, let me know your thoughts. Now, let's move elsewhere. Big news elsewhere. Big news before we end. 3 stories. Let's get into the first one. The Gooners. Arsenal sporting director Edu agrees to join group controlled by Nottingham Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis, if I've said that correctly. Not signed, plus role still to be finalised, but leaving Arsenal for new post includes responsibility for growing operation. Edu is leaving Arsenal. He's heading over to this group that control Nottingham Forest. They control, if I'm not mistaken here, because it was mentioned, Olympiacos, I think, and there's another club. I forgot who, but there's 3 clubs that are owned by the same owner. Edu is coming in. He's basically getting promoted here in terms of footballing structure. But when we're talking about the level of football clubs, he's happy to jump ship from Arsenal? I've got to ask the question then. Albeit respect to Nottingham Forest, because let's bring it up. Let's bring up this legendary picture. Mr. Brian Clough, legend. Mr. Brian Clough with what is that? What is that? Yeah, it's the Champions League. and what club was that? Yeah, Nottingham Forest. They are 2-time Champions League winners, just like us. Respect Nottingham Forest. Respect. But to leave Arsenal, that are meant to be competing for the title, that are meant to be at that level, he's happy to leave all that behind to go and join Nottingham Forest's owner to run those bunch of football clubs. I get it on a professional level. Yeah, maybe you're stepping up a notch, but what does that say about Arsenal? Let me put this into context. If Edu was sporting director at Manchester City, I don't think he leaves. So what does it say about Arsenal? Is there trouble brewing behind the scenes at Arsenal? Has Edu maybe figured that we've taken this as far as we can, lads? We ain't going to get any higher. Maybe. I'll put this out there and I will say it with chest, yeah? Matisse come out with chest about Man United. Listen, we got to talk on all you can eat Chelsea. but thankfully we didn't lose, because United, all the chest that they brought meant nothing either. But I'm going to say this for Arsenal. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Chelsea, after everything we went through, ownership change, attacked by the UK government, flipping assets frozen, all of that new ownership, 2 horrendous seasons, they had no idea what they were doing. If after all of that, we still get to a Premier League title before Arsenal, I'm sorry, Arsenal need to liquidate. Liquidate. Arsenal have been warned. Let's see what else is happening. Let me know your thoughts on that. Jose Mourinho, what have you done? Uncle. Here it is. Jose Mourinho slams Turkish football. Nobody abroad wants to watch the Turkish league. It's too grey, it's too dark, smells bad, but that's my job and I will give everything to my job and to my club. Who wants to watch this league abroad? They have the Premier League, the French league, the German league, the Portuguese league and the Dutch league. Why should they see this? He attacked the Turkish federation basically and the Turkish system and the Turkish league. Because, was it yesterday? Or day before, yesterday. Fenerbahce beat Trabzonspor 3-2. They won. This is after a win. I hate to think after a loss. This is after a win. He won 102nd minute winner from Amrabat to win Fenerbahce the game away from home. But there were scandalous VAR decisions during that game that went against Fenerbahce. And I think a player got kicked in the head in the box or elbowed, I think there was a handball on that as well. VAR were asleep. Jose said the VAR was drinking Turkish tea. But every time something happened against Fenerbahce, Turkish tea's finished. He's back on his job. He absolutely ruined the VAR referee and the Turkish system. And I'll explain a little bit to this because I've got a very, very close friend of mine, one of my best friends, who is a big Fenerbahce fan, right? Turkish. And Fenerbahce. All day long. Let's just say proper Fenerbahce, yeah? And I knew about this before Mourinho went to Turkey. Right? He was always telling me Fenerbahce are targeted. There's always a thing. There's always an anti-Fenerbahce thing in the Turkish system, in the Turkish league. If they have to choose between Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, Galatasaray always gets favoured. I've heard it all, right? So I'm not surprised. I knew this would be a thing. This is why I knew Mourinho going to Fenerbahce is going to kick off on a level that we've not seen before. This is why I was excited, because here we go. Exhibit A. It's happened. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Mourinho is the perfect guy to expose everything. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So much so, he was saying yesterday that my club only told me half the story. Now I'm here, they should have told me the full story, because this is ridiculous. It's crazy. Apparently there's corruption, there's all sorts going on over there, and I'm not surprised. So Mourinho is going to absolutely have a field day with this, because he doesn't need them, right? He doesn't. He's in a very good position, right? He could end football tomorrow if he wanted to. So he's got nothing to lose. The Turkish system and the Turkish football league, they're gonna have to clean up, and they're gonna have to fix up. Simple as that, because this could go to a very far place. We'll see. But Jose exposing. Meanwhile, in Italy, Frank is approaching. Frank Lampard is one of the candidates to take over as the new head coach of Roma. Confirmed, Lampard could replace Ivan Juric if the 49-year-old, who is currently under heavy criticism, would be dismissed. First call by Gazzetta dello Sport. Frank Lampard, Lamps, who was in the studio yesterday with Roy Keane and Jamie Redknapp for the Chelsea United game at Old Trafford. So, turns out the Roma job isn't so easy, huh? Okay. But Juric is under heavy criticism. I think Roma are 12th or they're 14th or something. They're in Man United territory, basically. Frank Lampard, I'm intrigued. If that happens, I wish him the best. But I'll be honest, if I'm Roma, I wouldn't go to Frank Lampard. I just wouldn't. Because Ivan Juric was meant to be the same sort of guy that other clubs brought Frank Lampard in for, you know, where it's like it's a new gen manager, it's a young face, it's someone who's going to prioritize young players. It's going to be that. What Ivan Juric was that for Roma, meant to be after Jose. It's not gone well. Lampard can bring the expertise that he's learned from the Premier League. That can help him, because Italian football is a little slower. So that can help. But I don't know. I don't know about this one. Would Lampard work or not? I'm a bit 50-50. But if he went there, good luck, Frank. I want him to do well. I really want him to do well. It would be a joy to see Lamps do really well. So, but could he? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think he will? Let me know down below. But it ends there. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you hit a subscribe button. Make sure notification bell on. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do not forget, check out the socials on screen and in the description. Very active on both of those that you're about to see, Insta and Twitter. So make sure you're there. Again, let me know all of your thoughts. I'll be here tomorrow for a brand new video. And then we get gearing up for the Conference League game against Noah. Interesting. I wonder how that preview is going to go. But I'll see all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care. And peace.